Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today for this free webinar from Panic to Calm. I'm Abby Spielman, and today we talk about how to help you move from the panic and anxiety and into more relaxed and calm state so you can feel safer in your body. And at the end, if you've got any questions, I'll leave some time for Q&A. So a little bit about me. I'm a trauma therapist from Melbourne, Australia, specializing in helping people to navigate anxiety, panic, and self-doubt, and to help you to calm your nervous system to feel much more relaxed in your body. And I know firsthand how it feels to be so anxious. I experienced panic attack as well about 9 years ago. And for me, it happened during nighttime, actually, just before I went to bed. And I remember feeling so anxious, even thinking about going to bed because I thought this panic attack will just come again. So I was very nervous even going to bed. I remember my hands were shaking, my whole body trembled, and I couldn't go to sleep, even though I really wanted to, because I had my kids were quite young back then, so I really needed that sleep, but couldn't get the rest that I needed. So if you feel you're anxious, you're definitely not alone. It can happen to anyone. And when I felt so anxious, I remember thinking, why am I nervous? Nothing's happening here. I'm just trying to go to bed. My husband is there. I'm living in a quiet area. My life is pretty good, so why am I feeling this way? And I felt that I couldn't share this with anyone. I thought that maybe people will laugh or judge me. So I decided to handle it by myself by going to YouTube. Maybe you've done that as well, going to YouTube to find different tricks to help me, fix that anxiety. And I saw those videos, but when I tried to implement that while I was shaking, I couldn't remember anything. I tried to read books, and I really thought I'm the only one who felt this way. Back then, I wasn't much on Facebook, so I wasn't really there to look for any advice. But everything changed for me when I stumbled upon a trauma-informed therapy. It really helped me, it really worked for me, and it made a huge difference in my life. It helped me to feel calmer and much less stressed. It made such a huge impact that I decided to become a trauma therapist to help others in similar situations. And this work taught me to look deeper, to understand my own wounds, to finally make sense of why I was feeling this way and what was happening behind this anxiety. So I hope after today you look at your anxiety not as your enemy, not as something you need to fix, but in a completely different way. Today I want to share with you how can you feel safer in your body, and I want you to see your anxiety in a different way, and I want to help you to regulate your nervous system. So you don't need to just breathe or fight your anxiety, because we don't want to ignore or fight or push it away. We want to understand what's underneath the anxiety and to help the body to feel safe, to learn to work with the nervous system, with the body to help it feel safe again. So before we dive in, I'd like to start by talking about what trauma really is. Trauma is a subjective experience, which means that if my friend and I both had an accident, for example, a car accident or something similar to that, I mean, she and I might have experienced in a different way. She might experience in more traumatic way where I didn't feel that as well. I didn't feel that at all. Sorry. It really depends on our past, on our culture, on our beliefs. And trauma isn't about what happened, it's about how we experience it, how we perceived it. We can't consciously control this, it's our body response. And a common mistake about trauma, and I had the same belief as well, that trauma has to be like a big event, like an accident. But trauma isn't always one big event. Often is a series of smaller or ongoing experiences that build up over time and shape how safe or unsafe we feel in the body. So these experiences might not have not been processed in our body or given sense of completion, and they don't just disappear. The body continues to hold their energy. So, for example, if I raise my hand in class and the kids laughed at me because my answer was wrong, so later in life um, I might be afraid to speak my opinion at work or in front of my team. Or if my parents weren't supportive or often criticized of me while I was growing up, I might carry the belief that I'm not good enough. And that belief might shape the way I show up in relationship and at work. And another important thing to understand is that trauma can be a result of something we needed but didn't receive. A lack of support or care or safety from the people who mattered most. So now that we have a clear understanding of what trauma really is, I'd like you to see how it affects our body and our nervous system. So this is a nervous system. At the top, we have the automatic nervous system. This is a part that works really just automatically. We don't have any control over it. And on the right side, you'll see the sympathetic nervous system, or the SNS. And this is our fight or flight system, where when it's activated, we can feel anxious and panic. We feel tension and urgency or even anger. The body is basically mobilizing us to protect us. On the left side is the parasympathetic nervous system, or the PNS. And most people think this is just the rest and digest. But polyvagal theory shows there's much more layers than that. So with the PNS, you'll see the dorsal vagus. This is when it's in high tone, this is the freeze, shut down, feeling stuck or numb, flat or disconnected. And when it's in low tone, this is the true rest and digest, where we can recover and settle. And then there is the ventral vagus, which is really important because this is the state of safety where we feel connected and we can engage with people. This is where we feel very present and grounded and able to connect with ourselves and with others. And running through all of this is the vagus nerve. It's like the main highway between the brain and the body, constantly sending messages about whether we're safe or not. And this is really important to understand because when we're in a survival mode, the fight, flight, or freeze, the thinking part of our brain goes offline. Logic, reasoning, choice, not really available at that moment. So when your body reacts, it's not because you made a bad decision, it's because your nervous system took over to keep you safe. And our goal is not to avoid stress or anxiety. That's not realistic. Our goal is to help the nervous system to move out of the fight and flight or the shutdown and spend more time in the ventral vagus safety with access to dorsal vagal, the rest and digest when we need to recover. And the good news is that we can influence this system. One of the easiest way to start is through the breath. Just a quick reminder before we go into the breathing exercises that breathing does not fix trauma. Okay, it helps the nervous system to feel safe. It's not a quick fix. So if you'd like, we can begin with the box breathing. If it's okay with you, you can close your eyes and take some deep breath and inhale for 4 counts. Then hold it for 4 counts and exhale for 4 counts and pause for 4 counts. Another breathing technique that you can do to help your body to calm down is inhale for 4 counts, hold it for longer for 7 counts, and then exhale for 8 counts. That long, slow exhale is especially important. It tells your nervous system that the threat has passed. And every time we incorporate some sort of counting into our breathing, it helps us to focus and bring us back into the present moment, which support the nervous system regulation. You can open your eyes now, if that's okay. Another way to support a nervous system and to help the body to regulate is through our senses. So we can look, for instance, we can find three things we can see, and we can really notice the details and the shapes and the colors and the texture and be curious about them. So I might say, I see a picture on the wall, I see my dog, or I see a table. And I want you to listen as well. Tune into the soft sound. Maybe it's your dogs or cats breathing, maybe the birds or the winds. Really allow yourself to rest on those soft sounds. And what can you smell as well? Use your sense of smell. Maybe something cooking on the stove. Maybe you can smell some flowers. Maybe it was a rainy day and there's a beautiful smell of rain outside. I work with a lady who really loves to sniff leather. That makes her happy. That makes her body settle. So everyone for its own thing. I'd like you also to feel. You can practice it anywhere, maybe at home, at work. Can you feel the texture of your clothes? Maybe the chair that you're sitting on. Maybe different fabrics. Even your dog's fur. And maybe you can feel your feet in your socks or in your shoes. Bringing your attention to all the senses, it really helps to anchor you in this present moment and support your nervous system. So these exercises help you to move out of that anxious state into a more present state, to notice that we are right here and right now. And that really helps the nervous system to calm down. And it's not about ignoring the anxiety, it's about giving your body enough safety cues so you can feel more grounded. But the real secret is to go back into your body. I'd like you to even scan your body and notice where are the parts that feel tense, which part feels relaxed. If you notice tension in your shoulders, can you roll your shoulders? If you notice tension in your legs, maybe stretch your legs or roll your ankles. Then notice what changed. And it's really important to notice the relaxed part as well as the tense part. We usually always go to the bad, the tension, but we want to feel where our parts feel relaxed as well. This is super important. We want to acknowledge the relaxation as well. And I'd like you to also notice, and that helps you to be more present. Notice what is in front of you, maybe what is above you, what's on the ground. Move your head, move your eyes. Notice, you can even feel it. And see how it feels when you're noticing the things in front of you or above you. If your body feels softer, I'd like you to practice an acknowledgement or gratitude. You know, notice or gratitude towards the animals, the people, the nature that you see around you. Really be grateful for that. And if you notice that your mind is wandering, and different thoughts coming in, that's completely okay. Don't be hard on yourself. Presence takes practice. So the moment you notice you're not present, you're actually present again. And that awareness is part of your practice. So being present, we basically stepping out of the survival mode and into the here and now. So far we talked about how to help the body come out of the fight, flight, or freeze mode. And I'd like to share a few client stories who wanted to understand more deeply why they were feeling anxious in the first place. Because often anxiety is a symptom. I don't see that as a problem. There usually other stuff under the surface. So we want to look deeper. We want to discover different experiences or pattern underneath that anxiety that the body is still holding on to. So the first one is a client who approached me because she felt anxious all the time, basically with no clear reason. And her life was pretty good. She retired in a beautiful property in Australia, in a place called New South Wales. And she has beautiful horses, dogs, cattle. But because of her anxiety, she couldn't find in her body to actually enjoy all of it. So when we started working together, we always start with breathing to help the body to calm down, to soften the nervous system. Then we gently inquire what's underneath that anxiety. And we pinpointed it to lack of confidence in herself and lack of confidence or lack of trust in people. And when we kept going, we realized that behind the lack of trust, there was a sense of feeling unsafe. And going back 30 years when she had bad marriage and she had to escape this controlled environment, this controlling environment, her ex was never appreciative of her, criticized her all the time, everything that she's done. And she's been carrying that feeling and emotions for over 30 years. So we process those emotions, the thoughts about herself, the beliefs about herself, and we're still working on it because it's such a big event. But she noticed her body now. She's not as anxious. She learned how to feel calm in her body. She learned how to trust people more. She learned that if she feels tense, she knows how to navigate that. She's not trying to push it away. She's curious about it, and then we can continue to work on that during a session. Another example is one of my clients who's been feeling very anxious in the morning for no clear reason. And again, we start with a breathing to help the body feel safe. And then we inquire what's behind her anxiety. She mentioned that she feels quite rushed in the morning. But after she mentioned that, she remembered that she had a very, very strict father who made her do all her chores in the morning just before school. If she overslept, her dad would literally pour a bucket of water on her. So no wonder she feels very anxious. Even now as an adult, her body learned to protect herself by rushing, by being on time, by doing the right thing. It also brought up lots of different emotions like embarrassment and sadness and anger. So with somatic tools and techniques, we process those emotions and the beliefs behind that morning anxiety. And that was just the first session. She reported back that after the next morning, she already felt much calmer in the morning. Another client was trying for 2 years to overcome her anxiety, and she felt anxious about everything, not only regarding her own life, but also for her daughters. She couldn't enjoy time with her daughter. She always felt that something will go wrong or what if something happens. She wanted to check why she's been feeling this way, why she's been feeling so insecure. So we started with a breathing practice, and after she felt relaxed in her body, we gently inquire what's behind her anxiety. And what came up very strongly was that she grew up taking care of her young sister while she was just in primary school. And both her parents were working, and all the responsibility was on her little shoulders. She couldn't be a kid, which made her very upset. She couldn't make a mistake. Everyone was counting on her. That little frightened girl was still inside of her. So we processed the emotions with somatic techniques. We managed to settle her young self to help her little girl feel more secure. Only then she had the capacity to see the world as it is, not through the anxiety lens. So what I hope you can see from these stories is that you can practice the grounding and breathing, and that will help you, but up to a certain point. If underneath there's still feelings or emotions, we need to process them. Otherwise, we can't help the body to really feel safe. You can definitely use the breathing and the grounding, but up to a certain point, we need to address what's underneath that anxiety. So let's recap. When we're in a survival mode, the thinking brain goes offline. Your body reacts first to keep you safe, and only later the thinking brain comes online. What helps the body is to regulate. Regulating your body is very important. It moves you out of the fight, flight, or freeze and into that connection and relaxation. And we can do this by breathing and grounding techniques. And the more you practice these techniques, the better. Even when you don't feel anxious, it will help you when and if anxiety comes up. And this is what I mentioned today. These are just a few exercises that you can practice. There's so many more that are available. And by the way, when you registered to this webinar, I sent over a PDF I created that called From Mind to Body. And that will help you to feel calmer in your body by creating that space between you and your anxiety. So you can be a bit more curious of what is behind your anxiety. So when we create that space with curiosity, the anxiety doesn't control us anymore, which means the body feels calm and much more at ease. And if you can't find it, just go to the website abbyspielman.com.au/gifts and you can download it for free from there. And if you'd like to go deeper, I put together the anxiety support toolkit. I really wished I had this toolkit when I felt so anxious. These exercises are very short and powerful to help you step out of your anxious mind and go into your body. Some of those exercises are similar to meditation sort of style, but it's not just breathe. It goes much deeper than that. These are tools to help you feel safer and calmer and more grounded when anxiety comes up. You can practice them when you're not anxious, so you can use them if you feel anxious again. And you can really use them at work, at home, whenever you have a quiet space or a few minutes to practice. And as I said before, all the exercises that I share, I encourage you to practice them as much as possible. So thank you for listening, and I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like to chat privately, you can book a free strategy call with me through my website, abbyspielman.com.au. Just look for the free consultation tab, and you can read the previous client's testimonials. I just put a couple in here, but there's more on the website. It's completely free, and it gives us a chance to talk about what you're experiencing, about your challenges, your goals, and to see if I can help. So thank you again. Jasmine, have you got any questions I can help you with?
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi. Um, I think I have read quite a number of books and I think links that given by people. And I sort of still stuck in the fight and flight mode, which I find it difficult to get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have any, I mean, I've been practicing the breathing techniques, the grounding meditation, and also like affirmations to stay positive. But I find that I'm still stuck in a very fight mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been feeling actually panicky every day. Yeah, the minute I woke up, the raised cortisol in the morning just made me very anxious. And I'm based in Singapore. Yeah, Singapore, I think is quite a fast-paced working environment, and I think a rush morning would have actually contributed greatly to the raised cortisol as well. Yeah, so recently I think I think I have developed panic attack. Yeah, the panic attack are getting more intense. Yeah, so I'm quite helpless, like how am I going to like control the body, you see?
Yeah. So do you know or have you noticed when you feel them? Like is something specific trigger them at the moment, do you think, or is it just a constant feeling?
It's actually the symptoms when I first felt. So let's say it's like palpitation, the heaviness in the heart. And after I was like, definitely I'll have the what if. Yeah, you see, what if this develop into like a cardiac issue? What if this develop into like something? What if I'm going to die? Yeah. So I think the intrusive thought is the one that I think I really need help. You see, I've been actually like searching on internet or even books or even chat GPT. Yeah, I mean there are actually affirmations that okay, maybe you just say that my heart rate is rise is because this is the way how the heart is pumping. Yeah, I mean, I tried like recording my own voice memo and I'll just play it throughout to at least, just divert the attention away. But I mean, there are some days that where it's so bad that actually I think I can't, yeah, I just feel that I just, yeah, can't
Yeah,
make it on some days.
yeah. And I completely understand that because, as I mentioned, I experience panic attack, and sometimes it just comes out of nowhere, or that's what we think, because we don't know other, which is fine. There's no judgment. This is, how we feel, and and then we in that cycle of what if I feel this in here, and then
Yeah.
I won't be able to control it, and that makes us more anxious, and it's like a vicious cycle. So the idea behind it, and this is what I work privately with, it's understanding, okay, when we feel this, what are the, maybe there's emotions that come up, maybe there's self-beliefs, very common, for instance, is that I'm not good enough,
Mm.
just very
Yeah.
common. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's you, a lot of common emotions that come up when I work with clients is anger, disappointment, embarrassment, it just comes up. And what happens, and the body is quite tricky in that way, because what happens, let's say you're in a certain situation right here, but then something triggers your nervous system for maybe something from the past. And it takes whatever you felt back then and brings it straight away to this
Correct.
present moment. And we don't even realize it because we can't control it. The body just somehow link those emotions to this particular event. So what I help people do is untangle that. I'll give you an example. I had a lady, she was very frightened, very felt anxious, and when we went deeper, she felt that she actually feels embarrassed a lot of the time. And so we went back with, where did you feel that embarrassment? So it took her all the way to her teenage years when her parents split up. And since then, she felt embarrassed. So it just kept going with her, and it just kept, it's just staying in the body basically. And every situation that she's feeling uncertain, maybe the embarrassment just keeps rising up, and she didn't realize it's embarrassment. So we really want to slow it all down, to take it all the way down, very, very slow movement, or just slow ourselves when we feel that, instead of thinking, oh, the what if, and going to that cycle. We want to go back to the body. Okay, what am I feeling? I'm feeling my heart rate. I see the thoughts, the what ifs. Okay, what am I feeling here? What are the emotions that are coming up? Could be various emotions. Where did I feel that before? Maybe something will come up. If you just sit with that, and I know it's uncomfortable in the body. I completely
Yeah.
understand that. But where is it coming from? Maybe a glimpse of a memory comes up, or an image come up. So um, we do it privately in a more deeper way. But this is the way we go deeper into the body to understand what's behind that anxiety. So we don't follow the anxiety. We don't allow that to control us and go into that anxious and panic mode. We're gonna go almost like step back and see it and like, okay, where are you coming from? What are you trying to tell me? What is the issue here? What is the emotion? What are the emotions behind it? So when we get curious, we're not taken away by that anxiety. Does that make sense? It's very hard and I want you to try it. So on the email, download the PDF. It will guide you to just tick like where are you feeling it, when, what thoughts come up, and try there. And also with the anxiety support tool, the meditation sort of exercises, they are going to really drop you into your body, and it's a different meditation than what's out there, because it's about asking that anxious part those questions and really be aware of it. What is it you want to show me? Because sometimes we don't know until we ask that question, until we're curious. Okay,
I
so
think mine is because I think 2 years back I have just have a random anaphylaxis.
mhm,
Yeah, it's just like I was like traveling to work and I just developed anaphylaxis allergic reaction to the omeprazole medicine that I took for gastric. And I think the symptoms are like, the palpitation, fast heart rate, breathlessness, cold lips, and I think dizziness. It actually is very similar to the panic attack symptoms.
mhm,
Yeah, that's the process that I cannot get. I will keep linking back to the what if I have anaphylaxis again. Yeah, I
mhm.
think it's more of like traumatic episode for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
you know what I mentioned before, the trauma can be also when there was lack of support, you
yeah.
know. So a lot of my clients, you know, when they experience some sort of traumatic event, again, it doesn't have to be big, it can be small. Maybe you were alone when that happened. Maybe you
Yes.
were, and then we want to, and that part of you that you've been alone and there was no support, that keeps pulling you. You
Yeah.
almost feel like you carry in a backpack and you just keep carrying that event
Right.
with you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So during the session, we can help the body to resolve that, to get completion. And it's a beautiful technique that I use that we can go and help that part to feel safe again. And then bring more safety cues with different strategies. Some of them, this what I cover today is really just, the surface. There's much more deeper strategy where we can really help the body to feel safer. The anxiety support toolkit has a lot of really deeper exercises that really help the body. So, helping that part or the traumatic event to be completed, plus helping the body to feel safe, that together creates safety in the body. Does that make sense? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
And then once that part feels safe, you'll feel that it's not, maybe it's still there, but it's not going to be as strong or as intense. That, when you feel maybe anxious, you won't go to that place. Maybe something else will come up, so we need to address that event. But the idea is that we want to see, to help those parts that, that's still sitting there in the past, waiting for to be completed, to help them feel safe again so we don't need to carry them behind all our lives,
Yeah,
basically.
you're right. You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Definitely, I'll just download your PDF. I'll have a look.
Yeah, have a look. So this is the PDF is a guideline to really help you to think of anxiety in a different way.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, this is just to start the ball rolling, basically to see it in a different way because we see anxiety and we think, oh, this is the problem. This anxiety is not the problem.
Yeah.
All the
I
body
understand.
sensations, they are not the problem. Okay. It's what underneath it, the lack of support, the emotions, the fear behind that, the fear of the fear itself. All
Correct.
of it has sensations in the body, and that's what comes up when you feel anxious. The anxiety is just on the surface. I don't see that as a problem. So if you
Yeah.
think of that, if you start to think of it like that, that's why the PDF is there to help you think of differently. It started to be a practice of, oh, what's going on here? To be more curious. Oh, what do I feel? Where does it come from? What is it linked to? What does it remind me of? All the sort of stuff. Does that help?
And I think that's helpful. Yeah. I'll definitely have a look at the PDF. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're interested, download the toolkit as well. It will give you some of the exercise there. We do it in the private session as well. So they're very powerful. It's not about doing it once and that's it. It's not gonna work. You have to kind of go back and practice them so the body knows how it feels to be safe. Okay, and if you'd like, we can have a session together when we can really go through it and go to those traumatic events. No matter how far they they are, that's completely okay. It's just to help the body feel more, that it's been done and dusted. We don't need to carry that traumatic event anymore. So,
Understand.
like if you like, you can always send me email or text
Email.
message,
Sure.
and we can book a time to do that as well.
Sure. Sure.
Where are you located in the world?
Singapore?
Okay, so we're not that
Yeah.
far with
Yeah.
time
Yes,
zones.
yes, yeah. That's why I was like surprised how come there's nobody inside the webinar because I think Singapore is 2 hours ahead. Yeah,
Mm.
ahead of Australia, right? Where are
Yeah,
you situated at?
yeah, I'm in Australia, in Melbourne, so
Oh,
it's about almost 11 a.m.
yeah, correct. Yeah, as well. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, nice,
So
nice having you this morning.
yeah, thank you for joining me. I'll send the recording to everyone.
Sure.
So feel free to watch and repeat. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message or email. Yeah, and we can connect from there.
Sure. Can.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.